So, I wanted to get on and maybe start a couple minutes early too. I'm just gonna pull up my iPad here real quick. Tonight we have some things we could do. We have some things we can talk about. Yeah, we'll see all that good stuff. So I don't like that. This is my bullet journal for next year, and I'm already like, I don't know, feeling weird about the gold leafing or foiling, whatever it's called. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Give me 1 minute. Whew, I'm tired. All right, there we go. I've got my like fan on my desk, so it's like really blowing my face. So we'll see how that goes for now. Anyway, hi everybody. I'm Courtney. If you are new to this group, welcome. Probably came in from the PVC sale group that I just posted in. I hope you enjoy and stick around. What I usually do on these Tuesday night lives, this is my time to kind of plan in my planner. It honestly is what keeps me up to date in my planner. These Tuesday night lives are the reason that I stay up to date in my planner, because I have specifically carved out this time. If I try to schedule it randomly during the week, it doesn't work as well. Unfortunately, the next couple of weeks I do have a couple events, so I did reschedule those. I'm going to be live next week, next Thursday, and that'll be leading into the Planner Boss Collective sale on Friday. And next week I'll have my new releases and everything to talk about. And then the week after that, we're going to go live on Wednesday, and that is because that'll be our official and last day of PVC. I usually extend my sale, just because, you know, I know weekends get crazy, especially in the fall when you've got football and sports and, you know, NFL and college and all the parties and all that stuff. So I usually extend my sale. So that week we'll go live on Wednesday. I did post a calendar of when I'm planning to go live in the group. I'll also be live in the PBC sale group on Sunday the 21st. So that's not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after. That'll be in the PBC group. If you've been around for any of my lives in the PBC group, that's when I give away tons of prizes and all that good stuff. So that's a great one to check out and to schedule. Yeah, but it's not quite 8 o'clock yet, so I'm kind of stalling here. What I do in these lives is I basically will go and plan a week or two or a monthly layout in my bullet journal. This is my bullet journal. I kind of flipped through it really quick. But having this set time is great for me to, know that that's when I'm going to plan. That's my time. I schedule it. You know, my family knows that Tuesday nights, generally, if I don't have something going on outside of the house, I'm here. I'm on a live at 8 o'clock. So, for me, that works for me. And even if you're not coming live, obviously, if you're here, you're not going live right now. I think it's a good thing, you know, to have a set schedule. Like every Wednesday I'm planning, or whatever it is, Sundays, whatever. But for me, being a bullet journaler and having to create my spreads every week, it definitely helps me to have that scheduled time. So I definitely encourage you, if you want to check us out, if you like hanging out with us, even if you're not bullet journaling, even if you're not stenciling, then still come hang out, work on your planners, and just have a good time. So these Tuesday night lives are usually a little less structured. I'm just kind of working in my planners. I'll answer any questions you guys have, chat about whatever. If you do have specific stenciling questions, I will absolutely answer them. Just let me know that, you know, you're new here, you want to stencil, that kind of thing. If not, I will just be stenciling as I usually do. The live in the PBC group is really when I like kind of will go through and like step by step show you all the stenciling things. But at any time, if you have questions, you're always welcome to ask. So with that, I'll kind of get started. This week, tonight, I'm planning on planning the next 2 weeks in my bullet journal. So not this my current week. I haven't actually written in because I've been running all over the place. I've got a lot of sticky notes, but I'll plan in that later. What I will do is, I'm planning next week and the week after, and then pulling out my reading journal and planning at least 1 week in there, possibly even into October's calendar. Not really sure. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah, with that, let's just get started. So September, I really haven't had a set theme, but the last 2 weeks, I kind of just did books. I don't necessarily like want to keep that theme. So there's a couple of options I had. I definitely could I really love doing the big flower layouts. I think they're really fun and easy and kind of impactful. But I'm thinking about maybe kind of like a mix one of like the flower layout, but also like some of the scripty stuff. So I'm going to kind of play around with that a little bit. Kind of maybe like the sunflower plus the scripts and maybe some of the like coffee stained look. I also have the sunflower pattern as well. Excuse me. Whew. I'm so tired today. So the other thing I typically use with my stencils is 1 or 2 of these losing my thought. I'm so sorry. The anti-stencils. This is our large anti-stencil. You get 1. So if you want to do like I have done and use it for the full box without moving it, you would need to grab 2 of those. I actually just taped this together the 1 week and have left it. So all I'm going to do here is just first kind of set my box where my actual planning is going to go. Obviously, like, we're doing this to have a functional planner. So this is a really important step, is to like make sure you know how much space and what space you're using for your planner before we're kind of dedicating other space to, you know, all the other fun things that you're doing. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is take my sunflower stencil and kind of arrange it. I know I definitely want to do at least 1 big one here, and I'm trying to decide if I want to kind of overlap stuff or if I want to then take some of the scripty stuff as to kind of tie it in with like our reading theme. I don't know. Or I could do a couple of sunflowers and then still do the script. We'll see. We're gonna start with a sunflower and see how that works. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I will be using my Tim Holtz Distressed Oxide stencils, or ink. So I'm just gonna grab a few colors that I usually use for these, and that would be the mustard seed. That doesn't look like the right color to me though, so yeah, it's definitely the mustard seed, and then the carved pumpkin. And then I will also use the ground espresso. So the first thing I'll do is I'll start light, and then the biggest portion of this is the yellow. So I'm going to take a yellow makeup brush, and I'm covering a bigger area, so I typically will grab one of my oval makeup brushes for that. The sticks are a little smaller, so you don't cover as much area, but they're great for detail. That's just kind of why I make some of the choices I make. So with my makeup brush, if you ever brush your teeth, put on makeup, this is really simple. It's the same thing. I'm not pressing super hard. I'm just kind of picking up some of my color, my ink in this case. And now I'm just taking smaller circles and kind of covering the area of the stencil. Now I have done this specific stencil. I've used it hundreds of times, so I kind of already know what I want to do with it. I know that I like to start on the outside in the yellow with the petals, because then all the darker colors can kind of flow with it. So I'll just cover all of this. I could even cover into the center part with the yellow. I'm gonna put brown there, so I know it's not gonna show at all anyway, so I don't mind getting a little bit of an over inking here If it happens, it happens. I'm not specifically trying to, but all I'm doing is doing little circles over and over kind of until that ink is the darkness that I want it and gives you that like depth of color. I definitely want a nice rich yellow on here. It's a pretty sunflower. It's supposed to be deep yellow. So if it's a color, if any of these are colors I don't love yet, I will just keep going until it gets to that color. Now, you'll see that I have washi tape on 2 sides. I like to say I always like to washi on at least 2 sides just because it, number one, it helps with stability of it, but number two, I can then pick my stencil up and kind of look and see if everything is where I want it to be, if I want any of the leaves darker. And then all I have to do is kind of flip it back on that hinge. And unless you did something like I did here, it's going to line up perfectly. But I tend to like that on a full straight line, and that makes it easier. So then the next thing I'm going to do is take another one of my brushes, and this is going to be the orange one. I keep brushes in like all of the primary colors just because I use them so often. This is going to be the carved pumpkin oxide ink, and all I'm going to kind of do is try to get in these lower parts of this, of the flower petals. This is to give it a little bit of a shadowing and kind of some depth to that yellow, and it gives the flowers a little bit more of a sense of life and a sense of richness here. And I'm not really looking for like a deep color or anything. I'm just kind of trying to give it a little bit of variant in that color. And then what I'll do is I'll take my yellow one and go back and just kind of dull the edges of it a little bit so it really fades in super well. And as you can see, this is coming together super quickly, which is another thing I really love about stenciling, is that it's super easy to pick up. And then once you have a few tools, it's easy to just kind of do a little bit of everything. Now this last part, it would seem a little bit harder, and this is something if I was focused on keeping all this brown ink right inside the circle, I would definitely have gone to a smaller inking brush. But I do find just a touch of the brown in that outer circle makes a huge difference in kind of the richness of it. It gives just a touch of color and of shadow and of realism, I guess. And then again, I will take my orange brush and just kind of dull it just ever so slightly. And then finally we can pull back, and you can see how those layers kind of added that depth to that. And there's your sunflower. Now, I'm trying to decide if I want to kind of like add a couple, like do one here and one here maybe, and then do the text there, which actually kind of sounds like a good idea. So let's do that. So once again, just taking that nice mustard yellow color. Now if you're worried about these pages under it and getting ink kind of on the side of your pages, you can definitely put a scrap piece of paper under the next page. It's something I usually do, but I'm also not feeling super protective of like the cleanliness of it and the crispness of my bullet journal. So I don't mind it being a little messy, a little all over the place, because I feel like that's my personality. And also just what I want. I don't want it to be too serious. I don't want it to have to be perfect, because then I won't feel like I'm deserving of doing it. I want to add just a little slight less, just to give more good color in here and to kind of differentiate the flowers a little bit. And then finally, once again, just a touch of brown on the outside and a nice good dark brown on the inside. And I will give this a little brush over with the orange, just like I said, smooth out some of that brown. That is one that you don't want to move, is this one, but luckily it seems to be decently easy to get it back at the moment. And then I'll also go right here. Also, I hope you guys can hear me okay over this. Like I said, I do have a fan like kind of right here at my desk. The fan in this room isn't working, and it's on the upper level, so it can get quite hot even, excuse me, even on a cooler fall day like today. Well, it wasn't really that cold today. We're supposed to get warm temperatures again this weekend, and I'm not ready for that. Like, I just want it to be fall. I want good fall weather. We've had some really gorgeous days the last week or so, and I'm not ready to give it back to it. I'm not ready to go back to 80s. I don't want it. I refuse it. So once again, I am just kind of adding another flower here because it's on the crease of this. I will kind of hold it down for this middle part just so it stays crisp to that. And of course we have our orange. You definitely don't have to add this orange in. You don't have to add brown touches in. You can do whatever you want, of course. But this is just my, I don't want to say tried and true because that sounds dorky, but this is the way I have made my sunflowers since I made the stencil. All right. So that is how that is going to set. And I think I do like that amount of sunflowers. I don't want to like overwhelm this page. So what I think I'll do next is start using some like brown text. I'm gonna use that same brown, but I'm gonna go a little bit lighter, and I'm gonna kind of make this like in some places it'll be darker, in some places it'll be lighter, and I do that just by varying the force that I'm pushing down with, and then kind of how much ink is on the brush and how many times I'm going over it. If you want something to be very light, you can just kind of put a little tiny bit of ink on it, go over it really lightly like I'm doing now. Or if you want something to be really dark, you can kind of focus on that area and just sit there and put a lot of pressure on it and just over and over it. I just realized the one I was doing is on our stencils. So that's why it's not getting dark, because I am being stupid. So if you focus on a little area at one time, it's going to give you a real nice dark impression. Whereas if you're very light over somewhere, which I'll do the rest of this just to kind of show you, is very light. And if you want to add more, you can of course always come up slightly. I don't think I want to do the whole page. I think I want to kind of fade out. Like this maybe. And then what I think I'll do is I'll do kind of like a slant down on this side too. All right. Now, like I said, this comes together super quickly, which is one of the great things about stencils, I think. Because now the last couple things I'm going to do is I'm just going to take I usually use black, and it doesn't matter like what color I'm using, but I feel like I'm using all this brown. I should be using brown. So let me grab we'll grab one of our mild liners. And the last, not the last, but one of the last things I'll do is I'll just take my anti-stencil while it's still down and trace around it, which will give us a nice clean crisp box that then I can plan in. And from here I will go in and divide up the lines and the columns and make it into a nice plan area. You see I got a little bit of ink under there. That can happen for a couple reasons, mostly me being careless. I do have, this is called a sand eraser, and they're from Tombow. There may be other companies that do sand erasers, but this is the only one I've really found and tried that's worked. This is basically like sandpaper in an eraser form, so you have to be very careful that you're not like overly going too hard, because you could either, one thing that I have done is like erased off the dot grid, but the other thing, if you're really heavy-handed about it, you could tear a hole in your paper. So you have to go very slowly and just kind of erase a little bit at a time. My goal isn't ever to necessarily erase it completely, but more to just kind of make it not super noticeable, especially once I start planning. So you probably can't notice it super well right now, and that is just kind of my goal. But I do usually come in kind of these places where I'll have like fingerprint smudges or something. I'll just kind of come and erase them, and maybe next time I'll erase them a little more. The main thing is you just don't want to go so far that you start erasing through the paper. Okay, so then the next thing I'll do to set up my layouts is I will kind of divide across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'll do 10 in this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a little bit wider, but we'll go. And then finally I will divide across. 14. I think it's 14. We're gonna go there. I might have miscounted on the bottom. I kind of had a little like doze off for a second there. And then the last thing I'll do is I will add the days of the week and, of course, the dates, just to get this nice and functional. I'm going to add the dates in this yellow mild liner. It's going to be the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 21. And then I usually put like little stars on this side. I had a little bit of a zone out there, sorry. I'm just gonna put kind of stars here, and then I'll write notes in brown. And then finally, forgive me while I write. I cannot talk and write specifically the days of the week. If I'm talking while I'm doing that, especially about something like that I have to concentrate on, I always spell one of the days of the week wrong. So I try to be as quiet as I can while I'm writing. Okay, so there is, and then if you want, I can always add, like in this little area, I'll put September. Okay, so there is a super quick, I feel like I drew it out a little bit actually, a super quick layout of next week. And then if I want, I can turn the page and get cracking on the next one. Oh, I did want to make a coffee ring on this though, didn't I? But now I'm like, where do I put it? And I waited until I picked the box up because I wanted to do at least one of them kind of in this, like you definitely spilled your coffee like on your notes kind of thing. Alright, so there are a couple of coffee stains. I actually am going to do one kind of very lightly in the middle here, just so it's not like, oh, each of the corners. Alright, there we go. So there is a quick layout spread, and let's move on to the next week. So for this week, move all my sunflower stuff out of the way. I try to keep the area kind of clean as I'm doing it. Now that we've done that, like folly and bookish, I feel like this should also be bookish, but I didn't have anything bookish planned, so now I'm like, what do I do? Okay. Just give me 1 second to kind of think this over real quick. This is like the weekend before I'll get to plan for. So next live, which will be one of the PVC lives, I'll get to plan in my Life of a Showgirl kit. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I have to like plan this. Okay. So let's again put down, let me give them kind of a quick little wipe off here. But let's put down my anti-stencils for my box. Give me 1 second to check something real quick. I could do a bookish pattern. That would be cute. My stencils are all over the place in one of our binders. I've been going to junk journaling nights, and so it's been hard to I don't want to bring all of my binders of stencils, so I've been putting them in these smaller, in this smaller album where I can just, I've only been like taking the ones that I thought I might potentially use. And so, shoot, I don't have any more. That's a bummer. Thought I had one more. I don't have any more wet wipes, which I would like to use on this. Let's give it a quick little dry wipe off. Maybe that'll help a little bit. A little bit. Okay, that's not too bad. This definitely could use a refresh on the washi though. It's barely sticking. So let's peel that up. After I do this, I'm gonna move into my reading journal, and then I think I will kind of quickly talk about PVC and all the good stuff for that. And then I wanted to kind of talk about my soft launch 2026 project that we talked about last time on here. And yeah, that's the game plan for tonight. So if I'm off here a little bit quicker, it might just happen. We'll see. I try to reuse this washi that I use as much as I can. So it's been on here so long, it's just like not even wanting to peel off. It's so funny. Okay, let me grab some more washi that I can. Here, I'll use this one. I just like to kind of circle the washi tape and add it in the back here. Stenciling is a great way to use all of the like random washi you have that, like, I don't know about you guys, but when I first started planning, it was like go to Michael's and buy all those tubes of washi just to have as much as I could have, because all these people have like drawers and drawers and drawers filled. And now I have drawers and drawers and drawers filled, and I don't know what to do with any of it, let alone the stuff that like I bought at the very beginning because I didn't know where to get any better washi. Let's also give this a quick little wipe off. This is also kind of coming loose. I would rather be able to not just have it in like two sheets and just have it in two separate sheets and have it nicely go together. Because this is just being almost more of a hindrance than a help right now. So we'll reset that a little bit. Alright. That's good enough for now. I can clean it off before our next live. So when I have the two separate ones, all I'm doing here is just taking them into the spine and kind of lining it up the best I can on boxes. Every notebook seems to have slightly different box layout, even across the same brand, so they don't fit exactly. I just kind of meet it in the middle the best I can. Give it a nice firm press here to make sure it stays down. And then the same thing, I'm just gonna line my books up. And then what I'm going to want to do is pick out kind of a fall-ish color palette that I wanna include in here. So I definitely wanna do that nice yellow, I think. I would like to add in like a little bit of maroon, I think makes a nice touch. And maybe kind of a off green instead of our brown to give it a little less darkness, I guess. So I'm gonna use actually our brushes here because I don't have quite all of these colors. Now, in this, I'm not really like coloring each individual book, specifically one color. I'm going to do kind of the same technique I use on my monthly layouts for the calendars and kind of just spread the color everywhere and let like kind of an ombre effect to take place, or more of a watercolory effect. So let's put our orange back in here. And I am definitely kind of trying to blend these colors together. The nice thing about the Distress Oxide is that that's something that they do really well, is that they stay wetter long enough that you can do that kind of blending together of the colors. It is one, drawback of it is that you have to kind of wait a second for it to dry before you really touch it, but it doesn't really have a ton of smearing, I don't think, so I think that's like kind of a low risk, even though it does happen a little bit. So trying to leave a little bit of room here for the green. I feel like 4 colors might have been a slight overstep, but we're gonna go with it. All right, so let's pull that back and kind of look at the colors. I do want a little bit more brightness, but I do also kind of want some of that green in there. What I should have done is just gone like top to bottom, but we'll see. We'll do the best we can for now. All right, so let's kind of line these back up a little bit. I'm gonna start with the green. And just be like a little lighter here. And now I think I'm gonna do more of a maroon. I've always looked at this to be a very dark maroon, but now that I'm like coloring in it, I'm like, this could definitely be darker. It could be richer. I need another color now. They've supposedly stopped making new colors of oxides / the distress colors in general, and that makes me really sad because I really like this line and I want more. I would love some like neon colors. I'd love some real dark jewelry colors. Okay, and then lastly, again, we're going to do yellow. I'm switching to a smaller brush for here because I do kind of want to get more of a blend in with some of these colors instead of just kind of covering it in yellow. All right. And then we're gonna come in one more time in here. I do like to kind of line this one above just so I can kind of make sure I have the same spacing. Add some orange. And then, of course, the maroon and the green. Alright. And then finally, I'm just going to kind of go on this very last one. I know I'm kind of going a little faster here. I get to some point sometimes and I'm like, I'm just done. I don't care anymore. It's pretty easy to cover this stuff up though. And just like that, another layout is practically done. I'm gonna take 1 second to kind of reset here. Get things back where they belong. Get lids on things. Like I said before, it becomes very easy to stop doing that. And so, especially when things like lives happen, I just feel like I'm always so chaotic that it's good to kind of like be in the habit of going back and doing that. Oop. All right, I'll put these away real quick. And then I'm again gonna use the brown just to give it kind of that, oh no, this hung over and kind of cut us off, but that's all right. It's not perfect, just like I'm not perfect. And then I'll peel these back. And this is kind of our fallish reading spread. All right, so we'll go 10 across again. And then of course we'll go 14 down. I never believe myself that it's 14. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do the same kind of numbering as I did last time. We'll start at the 22nd, 23rd, and then finally, of course, right in the days of the week. Okay, so there is everything filled out in this week, and this is just a really quick bookish week. Kind of use some fall colors, so it kind of ties to the rest of the month. And then this is the last one with obviously like the script to make it kind of bookish. So here is a quick flip through of the whole month of September now. It's nice to kind of get ahead, especially as the next couple weeks I'll have the PBC sale, and then I have a planner, the Life of a Showgirl planner event. I have just a lot of things coming up, so it's nice to have my planner kind of set ahead of time. But this is one of the ones we just did, and then we also did this one just now. Next week I will work on my October monthly, and then the Life of a Showgirl week, probably. So that's my bullet journal. Give me 1 second to do a little bit of a reset here. Take some of this washi off stuff and put everything else away. I like to kind of have it all back to zero before I move on to the next one. So I had pulled out all these different stencils that I was thinking of using. I'm trying to be more planned for the lives and less like by the seat of my pants. Not that I don't have room for spontaneity, but it makes not being able to find something. So not being able to find everything that you think you're gonna use is way less stressful. All right. So then the next thing, and maybe the last thing, I don't know for sure. I'll have to kind of decide if I want to move into October already in my calendar. That's the other thing I would do if I do one more. So the next thing we'll do though, before I even worry about that, is kind of two options, or not two options, but I have another week in, or 2 weeks in my reading planner. I'm trying to decide if I want to do this fun big stencil, this fun fallish, like kind of the same vibe as the excuse me, as the my bullet journal, which I kind of think I want to. I think I want to stick with the sunflowery vibe. So let's do that. Let's do another sunflower. Last week I did kind of on the outside, so what I could do is kind of go on the inside this time, and just kind of stagger this, maybe like that. Could also kind of like make like a diagonal across. We'll start here. So, I actually have the one I already used. I don't know why I don't just use that one. I am gonna grab those three, the orange, the brown, and the yellow brush again. That's black, that's not brown. Hi there, if you're just joining, make sure you say hey. I have already worked on my bullet journal for tonight, and then I'm gonna be working in my reading planner, and that might be all for tonight because I have some other things I want to take some pictures of and film. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where we're at when I get there. I've been really working a lot on something I'm calling Project or Soft Launch 2026, which is my mission to get all of my planners like ready ahead of time for 2026 so that I'm not scrambling at the end of the year like I usually am. So I wanted to do a little bit of work in a couple of my planners tonight, and then life got busy, so we'll see. We'll see where we're at, and I'll make a decision then. So again, for my sunflower stencils, hi Alyssa. Just lurking around, I feel that. That's what I feel like. Sometimes I feel that when I'm like talking, I'm like, I just want to be in the background, just kind of planning. I don't even want to talk right now. How's your week going? I saw a couple people randomly join, so I was like, people talk to me. So yeah, so when I'm working on my sunflowers, I always like to, like I said, start with my yellow, both because it's the lightest color, and it's easy to cover over if I get any bleed through, but also I just feel like it makes sense in the layering stages of it. Like the petals kind of sit furthest back. Yeah, I feel that too. It has been a long week already, and it's only Tuesday. I'm like, it's Thursday, right? Tomorrow's Friday. No, not even close. It's a little sad. And now I'm like, I don't have a short week until, well, I'm hoping to take some PTO for the Taylor Swift album, but other than that, if I don't get it, I am not going to have any short weeks for a while. So now I'm just adding this little bit of orange. I feel that, like, I don't know what it is. I love the fall, but like there's something about like the transition into it that makes me just, I mean, it's cozy season, right? So like all I want to do is curl up in bed and read and just like binge some movies and be comfy and cozy. But it has not been a cozy season yet for me. I'm dying for a good do nothing weekend, which I definitely won't be having here anytime soon. So lots of fun. All right, so there is our first sunflower. Yeah, not until Thanksgiving. If I don't take any PTO, it would be the same thing. I do have 2 days that I'm planning on taking. The Friday of the Chicago Planner Conference as a PTO day. And then, like I said, I really want to take the day of the new Taylor Swift album off, just because I had a day that I was supposed to take PTO and my counterpart had already, apparently like at the beginning of the year, had asked for it off and I didn't know. And that was the day I went to Bookcation. So thankfully I was allowed to leave a little bit early, but I didn't get my full day. So I'm like, I do have that day, and there's a new Taylor Swift album coming out. And like every other album I haven't, not every other, but like the last few that have been released like at midnight. Hi, Cynthia. I haven't done that, and like she's dropped super late night albums both times, and it's been exhausting. Like even just staying up till midnight and listening to the album, because I can't help myself and I can't tell myself no, and I get too excited. But then like after I'm just about done, it's like, oh, by the way, here's another 30 songs to listen to, which she supposedly isn't going to do this album, which that's fine. But also like, I just think it'd be fun to take that day off. And like one of my friends is like, you should do all day, work on your little Eras Tour journal, because that's something I want to do and start getting done. Listen to the album and just have a good, and it's a Friday, like give myself a long weekend too. Use it or lose it. Yeah, same. I don't get to extend mine either, so that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm thinking I might do that. So if I do that, then my next one would be in a couple weeks, and then of course, like I said, the Friday of the Chicago Planner Conference, I'm planning on taking a day off because I'd like to get in Chicago early and maybe see some stuff or go to a nice lunch somewhere fun, and or just see some of my friends that are going to be there extra time. So that's what I'm thinking of doing with like my last 2 PTO days that I have, other than I think I have one other sick day too, but I try to just actually use those for when I'm sick. So I really wish I could carry my PTO. My PTO days are over though, because next year there's a lot of stuff I want to do, and I'm turning 40, and I want to like have a fun trip for my birthday, and it's alright though. We'll figure it out. How are you doing, Cynthia? That's super nice. I just get like a straight 2 weeks plus a sick week, or personal time, I guess. 2 weeks vacation, one personal time, and then I use it or lose it by the end of the year. Like there's no carrying over at all, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. All right, let me erase that real quick. All right. Going over the soft launch? Sure. So my soft launch 2026 program is basically what I'm doing to get my planner ready. I know I talked about this in here, and some other people were talking about like they wanted to do the same thing. I know it's more, I'm trying to gear it more, it is geared more towards people like me that like are doing a bullet journal or another type of planner where they have a lot of setup. If you're in the regular planner, you might not have a ton of setup, but I think it is still kind of like some of the things that I've been thinking of are still good for like every planner. Cause like one of the things for week 3, which is next week, is going to be like starting to order the things that you use at the beginning of the year. So like things that you need for the entire year, like holiday stickers, maybe birthday stickers or stuff like that. PTO stickers. I don't even know if people make those, but things like that, like things that you're going to use throughout the year and will use like in January. And then also like your first quarter stuff. So like January, February, March, because like, you know, once we start getting to Black Friday and you're trying to order from sticker shops, not every sticker shop is ready to ship, especially when they get the volume around the holidays and around like new planner season. So it's always a good idea to order that stuff early, like the stuff you really need. So like, I know like you know Monica's shop, so like Peanut Butter Taco, she gets a huge influx of orders at Black Friday, and she's not always able to make sure that all of those are there by the new year. So like if you're doing a reading planner, it's always a good thing to at least order your essentials like ahead of time, like the things you need to set up your planner. You know, you might not need your shamrock date dots or date covers or, you know, your June stickers yet, but you know, like your challenge stickers and things like that you're gonna want. But in essence, like the project is just, I'm making it for myself really, because I typically will sit and like, it'll be like January 2nd and I'll be sitting here like, oh crap, I need to plan this week, and I have an empty notebook. This is my bullet journal for 2026. I'm making a list of things I want to, since I'm shopping my stash. Yeah. So what I did, I think it's, I can't remember if it's this week or next. I think it's next week. That was like going through and like, oh no, maybe it was this week. Going through and identifying all the stuff that you want. And then next week is the part. All right, we are back. Sorry about that, guys. Give me a second to kind of get everything back together here. I'm gonna have to get out of here. Now I'm having connection problems. Fantastic. If it goes out, I will probably end the live here. I will hopefully keep this live for a little bit more, but if for whatever reason we can't continue, we're gonna call it. So I'm gonna continue to work on this while I hope everything comes back. I really need to work on figuring out a better solution in my phone, because it's not doing great on these lives right now. Or I just need to bite the bullet and finally grab a new phone. Yeah, I'm back. Good. I had to pop on a new live because it said like, oh, reconnect to your live, and it wouldn't let me. Okay. So there is those two, and then I'm just gonna add on dates in here. Let me grab my, just realized my bookish stickers are across the room, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab those, and then I'll continue to talk about the soft launch project. Basically, the soft launch is just a way for me to prepare, and then I'm trying to, yeah, mine has an either, Alyssa, and then I had it on a magnetic charger, and it must have overheated, so I had to take it off of there, but I have to kind of like pay attention. I don't want to go too far off of like it's only at 50% charged right now. So, yeah. Anyway, it's just a way for the soft launch program is a way for me to get my planner set up. And then I know some of you guys were interested in it, so I wanted to kind of like extend that to you as well. It's a lot of like, just a way to prepare for next year. I did put in there like next week, one of the things is to go through and see how much you need to actually do. And then once you've decided how much you actually need to do, then you can kind of break it down and see how much you need to devote each week. So I have quite a bit of spreads. Like I figured out starting after next week, if I do 3 spreads a week, then I will have plenty of time like to be done by December 1st and to give myself a little bit of a break, and I'll be completely set up. But if I don't, then there's gonna be some weeks I'm gonna have to do some catch up and or like really just be a little bit behind. But some of those spreads I also like note that they're not like vitally important. Like if I don't get every single spread set up, it's not going to be a huge deal, but there's some that I really want to be set up. So like my future log I want set up, but like if I don't get my playlist set up by then, it's not, it's not the end of the world. So it's just a little bit of like identifying the important ones, and then I'm going to do in mine like I've been doing in my sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna be doing like I've been doing in my bullet journal and just penciling in where spreads are so that I can kind of hop around a little bit. Even if I want something up front that maybe isn't as necessary to be in it right away, I can still kind of hop around. So basically all that's to say is it's just like it's a system I'm doing. But obviously everybody's welcome to do it as well. And if you do it, I really hope it works for you. Because I think it's going to work for me. So this week, I have my notes here somewhere and I don't know where I put them. Over here. So like last week, it was a shorter week. I launched this late because I literally saw it September 1st. So last week's was a planner evaluation, seeing what was doing good in your planner, making a wish list, and kind of like figuring out what purposes you wanted your planners for. And then week 2 is a planner audit of going through your planners and making a list of the spreads that you like, the things that you need, like stencils, specific stencils, stickers, washies, any of that kind of thing, and then break those into like a yearly need, like birthday stickers, holiday stickers, things that you're going to use throughout the year, anniversaries, social media, anything you use like any time of the year, and then into like quarterly. So then like first quarter, like January through March, April through June, July through September, and then October through December. So like, for instance, I know that I always use like Ohio State football schedules, but I won't use those in January because I've already ordered them for this quarter. So I don't need those. I won't need those until October, next August, right? Because I already have my ones for this year. And any extras, like, I already have. For my nephew, like, he plays basketball in the winter. So, like, my first quarter, I'll order basketball stickers. But I don't necessarily need to order baseball ones yet. Because I won't need those until April. So I can wait on those. Like, I could put that order in at Black Friday. Because I don't care if it doesn't get to me until January. You know what I mean? And then kind of budgeting for those, and then list of planner spreads and pages that you want that like will make your 2026 functional. I actually just printed mine off, so if you want me to grab them, I can kind of show you, because this kind of blends into week 3 too. And then to start deciding what specific planners you'll be using, like I'm already in my bullet journal, and then to order those if you can, and if not, you know, at least make a note when they'll be launching. So like, that being said, it's kind of just a way to, I don't even know if I have the right dates for this yet. 15. I do. Okay. make sure that I'm staying on track. Like, I want to make sure that I have the things I need, and then I think that'll help me to kind of be functionally in my planner as of January 1st, right? Like, I can't tell you the number of times that I've been like, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. And like sitting there on January 1st, like, okay, I guess I should make my cover page now. So over the next few weeks, like, I'll just be doing kind of, I don't want to say like in order of importance, because like some of them I'm like putting themes together, like a PTO spread with like a vacation spread, like, so I don't necessarily need my vacation spread or my travel spread right away, but I kind of just went with it to keep the themes together in my head. But you definitely can kind of do it how you think it's going to be important. But yeah, once I'm done with this page, I can go and grab it and kind of give you a quick rundown, because I've been trying to stay like a week ahead even of my schedule, just because I want to be able to like film that content and have a day or two, like if I need to refilm something, or sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought. If I need to refilm something, or if I like get behind, like to just give myself a little bit of grace, because obviously like PBC is coming up and I still haven't finalized all the designs and all that kind of good stuff. So there's a lot of stuff coming up that I needed to get a little bit ahead on, because I am not ahead on anything else. All right, so there is this week in my reading planner. I think I'll stop there as far as the planners go, just because then I can kind of pull the rest of the soft launch stuff out. Let me just reach across and grab this off my printer. I literally just printed this off. And then I can show you guys how I'm doing that. I'm a week ahead in the soft launch program, just because this week specifically, like it's my nephew's birthday party this weekend, and I know I've got to make a cake on Saturday, and my week of work has been a lot, and I'm trying to keep up on orders, and I have CPC swag I have to get done, and of course, like I said, I have all of the finalizing of PVC stuff to get done, so I'm really behind on everything, and this has been something that has kept me engaged. So a week ahead only in the sense of like I've made the decisions, like I already had my planners. I don't need to or the only planner I don't already have is the PBT one that isn't out yet, so, and I know that I can get that right away. So which one, what you want to do for next year? I was an academic planner August to August, but I was sick all summer, so I haven't ordered or done anything. I mean, it might be a good time if you want to do a yearly planner. Okay, so then this is my week 3. Like, I don't have the prompts ahead of me because I didn't print them out yet, but one of the things is to break down the spreads you want to do into like a timeline. So I broke it down into, I know that of all the spreads I want to do, if I do 3 to 4, if I aim for 4, then I'll like have a little bit of ease time. If I aim for 3 to 4, I will be completely set up once January 1st starts, and then I would have the entire month of December just to do whatever I wanted. That's in my bullet journal. And then my bookworm life is going to be a little different because I always have a bookworm life setup day specifically for that. So I'll do a few things in it beforehand, but I usually leave that for then because it's just a fun day with my friends and I want to do that then. And then my business planner isn't going to be a lot of setup, and my junk journal will be already ready. So I have my first page, and then like I broke down like which stencils I was using for them, or others, like other materials, like they're not all stencils, but most of them are. And then if there was something that I wanted to search for and didn't think I had in my stash, like a 2026 vinyl, I highlighted that, which there wasn't a lot in this part of it. Like when I get to the weeklies is when I'll start using other stencils and stuff. So my cover page, like I know that. There's some ones that I haven't even designed yet in the bottom here. So this is my breakdown, like my first page, my cover page, my future log, my way in the future log, my gift ideas and wish list, my birthdays and anniversaries, borough birthdays, reading tracker, playlist goals, a new spread I want to do since I'm turning 40 next year is like a 40 for 40. I don't know if it's going to be 40 of 40 new things or like 40 new things. I don't know what it's going to be, but I want to put that in there. A PTO vacation tracker, shop goals and social media, which I usually do, a word of the year, my word of the year definition spread, which I usually do too. It's just fun. I don't know. Bucket list, travels, memories, another memories, a third memories, vision board, a Taylor life quote, which I didn't do this year, but I loved the year before. A self-care spread, a couple spreads of that, extra spread ideas that I had that can fill up the extra pages I have. And then at the very end, I want to do a letter to myself, a brainstorm for things to include in 2027, year in review, goal review, and a wrapped. And then I did for my monthly needs, tip and tape, because I always tip in those pages. PTO tracker, I don't know how I'm going to set it up, honestly, Cynthia. I might just end up doing like 3 weeks worth of boxes and then writing down the days that I take that, just so I keep better track of it. Because the last 2 years I've just been kind of like, last year it was all basically taken up between my Italy trip and my Vancouver trip. So I didn't really have the option there to do, I knew what I had. But I think I'm just going to make, I haven't really decided how I'm going to do that, but if you have any ideas, let me know. I just know I wanted to keep better track of it next year because I'm going to be really stretched thin, but I want to do a lot of things next year. And then, so then I did like monthly needs, our tip and tape, a notepad paper from Archer and Olive. Both of those I should have, but I just made a note to check my stash. Script holiday stickers, which I've used the last few years from Seeing Me Draw, but if I see any other ones, like I'm open to different ones. Birthday stickers, which are usually from PBT, and I'm going to check my stock on that. My scrappy sheet, book club, bookish event stickers, again from PBT, and I'm going to check the stock. Various calendar stencils, which I already have, obviously, and then I need to make a mood card for next year. So I just kind of wrote down the things that I needed, and then I broke down my first 3 months because, like I said, I'm doing it in the first quarter. January monthly, I'm doing, I'll explain this in a minute, but I'm doing Taylor Swift themes for each month because it'll be 12 albums now. So each month is going to be themed to an album, just the cover page. I'm working on, not for PBC, but for the Taylor Swift event after that. Like the letters, like when I have the big letters for the September monthly, I'm working on big ones that are bracelets. So those 3 I put down there, and I haven't decided specifically on the February and March theme, so I left it over there, but I put other stencils that I might need for January, and then like kind of a theme. So, and then weekly needs, obviously like February and March I kind of left ahead, but then I also put for January weekly needs, I'm going to use my New Year's kit, stencil kit, social media icons, sports schedule stickers, and I put specifically like the 2 shops I usually get them for, but I can check from others. I'm going to need basketball for my nephew, and then pro teams, which would be the Red Wings and the Lions. I already have the Lions and OSU, so... So then the second part is brainstorming themes and word of the year. I decided my whole planner theme is going to be Taylor Swift. Not really like the theme, but like I just wanted, I don't know, this notebook kind of lended itself to it, and it's just the 12 albums, and I thought it would be fun. Plus my quote for the cover page is themed with a Taylor Swift song, so it's just how I'm doing it. So each month's title page will be themed to a specific album, and then I put my breakdown. I'm semi-set on it, but I'm not 100% set on it. I'm doing Reputation for January because of New Year's Day, but also like I thought I could put like the old year can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because it's dead. Anyway, and then February I'm torn between doing The Life of a Showgirl because it's Mardi Gras and Lover, obviously. I'm gonna kind of leave this up in the air until I listen to The Life of a Showgirl and decide what vibes it gives me. And then March, I'm tentatively doing Welcome to New York, but that's only if I go to SGS for the planner conference. If I don't, I'll have to switch some things around. Fearless, I'm tempted to do for April, just because I haven't decided anything else better. And also, like, Fearless for 40, yay! But also, like, crying. And then May, debut, just because it gives me spring vibes. June, I had originally put in for Lover. Just because Cruel Summer, but I might switch that with Showgirl. July, I have Speak Now, just because Sparks Fly. August is Folklore, because obviously August. And September I have for Red, because it gives me a Red album, like a fall album, but also like Ohio State football. October, TTPD, just because I did this last year, like My Beloved Ghost and Me, Sitting in a Tree, DYING. I don't know, I love it. But also like Who's Afraid of Little Old Me and Pick Your Poison Babe. I'm poison either way. And then November, Evermore, just because that is absolutely a fall album, and like 'Tis the Damn Season, and then Flannel, and the colors of it just work for like Thanksgiving. And then December will be Midnights, because like meet me at midnight. And then also maybe add in Christmas Tree Farm in there somewhere. And then my word of the year I decided is going to be Celebrate, because I need some like push to not only like celebrate being 40 and not dread it, but also like celebrate my life, celebrate the little moments of life, celebrate the big moments of life, celebrate myself, celebrate my friends, like kind of celebrate myself as a form of like appreciating myself and like doing the things to celebrate myself, like all the little things that like, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm doing for my word of the year. And that's like not obviously also something you have to have, but and then I also broke down my other planners, my reading planner spreads that I need. I'm going to check my stock for challenges, and then the other stickers that I use. I'm just going to take my old one and literally just flip through and do a lot of the same stuff because it worked really well for me. My junk journal, I really don't have any other than a title page, but I should be in the middle of one, so I won't need to do that. And then my business planner is going to be really like kind of bare bones. I'll show you that in a minute. All I really want to do is just go through and date that and then make like 2 spreads in it. So that's going to be a really quick one, but I want to have that set up so I can start brainstorming all the things that I want to brainstorm for the new year. And then one of the other things I want to add next year is possibly a reading journal. I'm working on some planners from some stencils for like some reading review stencils. And I want to be able to use that because one of the things I also want to start doing is like some more like social media reading, posting book reviews. And like then I can put that with my stencils and like have it be cohesive, you know what I mean? Instead of like weird. So that's my breakdown. Like I said, I went through and like, if I do 3 to 4 spreads a week, I will be ready by December 1st easily. So I'm just going through and like figuring out, you'll see past week 3, I've started like, one of the things in week 3 is just putting your name in your planner to get it started, because I know that's typically the hardest part to get your planner started. So I haven't done it yet in the bullet journal, but one of the things for this week is also penciling in anything. So I've started going through and penciling my dates in. I haven't penciled in all my spreads yet, but that'll be something I do here shortly. This is my new junk journal. I already did the cover page, so that's basically set up. I had to do some TTP or showgirl stuff, and then I have my bookcation stuff still to do. So I'm a little bit behind in my junk journal, but I did finish my old one, my little chunky girl. It's all finished. I'm all done in her. I kind of spread out the last few pages. Like there's only like 1 picture page just because I was at the very end. I didn't want to start bookcation and like have to go after one page into a new one. So my old junk journal is done, which is really fun. And then this is my business planner. I actually already did put my name in it just because I wanted to do that. And then I started putting, you know, the calendar here. I do have to still go out back and cross out like the days. And then this is going to be my goals and social media tracker, which is going to basically just copy the one I put in my bullet journal. I love penciling in stuff just because it gives me like a good idea of where I'm going to put stuff. And then I feel like I can skip that page because I've already like dedicated that page to something. And these are just going to be content ideas. and brainstorms. And then I go right into January. And I already started dating. I think I dated the first 4 months of everything in here. Just because it was one little task. I was sitting at the very end of our, we went to our Scrappy Chic place the other day as like an extra day of the month. And so I had a little bit of extra time that I was sitting there before. I didn't want to leave yet, but I also didn't want to like pull out more junk journal stuff. So I think I have dated through April, and then I just put the date on May. I don't necessarily feel like I have to have this completely dated all year yet, but I probably will soon, just because I'm just sitting there doing nothing sometimes. So that's that. But that's like, you don't have to have that done in your planners if you have an undated planner yet. That was just because I have so many. I wanted to kind of get a jump on that. The only other planner I really have not really set up is, this is going to be my CPC planner, but also going to be eventually all other conferences. So I have to do a little bit of setup in here, but that's for the conference, and that's a little bit more as it gets closer. So, but yeah, that is the soft launch project. Next week is, like I said, it's going to be breaking down the supplies you need and the specific spreads you need, and kind of like divvying them up. Because like for me, like I have like a good, what did I say, 30 some spreads that I want to do. So then I divided that between the weeks, and I know that I need to do like 4 spreads. But like if you don't have that many, you don't need to do that many each week. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things for next week. And then starting to brainstorm if you have any themes that you want to do, and maybe your word of the year. And then starting to think about or purchasing things that you need for 2026. Like I said, because next weekend, I kind of intentionally did that next week just because next week is the PBC sale. So it's a good time to save money on that and get ahead, because a lot of shops, and myself included, aren't necessarily, once shipping slows down for the holidays. You know, if we're 3 to 4 weeks out, that's going to put you mid-December, and then you are dealing with shipping at USPS. So not all shops are going to get you your stuff before Christmas and or New Year if you're ordering at Black Friday. And that's just the long and the short of it. So having at least your first couple weeks planned and knowing what you're going to do, and or like you have it in your stash, you're going to shop your stash for those couple weeks. Yeah. Cynthia, I was just like, on my lunch hour, actually, I was just typing in my phone, flipping through my planner and writing it all down. So that's all I did. I flipped through my planner, and when I covered, I like every page, I went, am I going to use this next year? Am I going to use this next year? Am I going to use this next year? And if I did, I wrote it down, and then I wrote down the things that I would want. If I didn't have a complete idea, I just put like ideas down. So, yeah, that's next week's 2026 soft launch program assignments, I guess. So, but anyway, here is, thank you. It's really not, honestly, Michelle. I wish it were. I'm trying to be more organized, but this was, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am making this up as I go. This is just me trying to be more organized. And I figured if I put it out there and like tied myself to you guys and feeling like I need to put it out there and I have to do it, it'll make me do it. Because now you guys are depending on me and not just me. So you guys are basically my accountability. So thank you. But basically, if, oh, hang on a second. I need to, hopefully this won't get too hot again. If I, fall behind, I'll feel guilty about it. So I have through week 5 planned out, and that'll put us through the end of September, which then it's only 2 more months. So it's going to just start becoming like, if you do this spread, do it now. If you do this spread, do it now. Do 3 more spreads. So if you're behind on this and you're in a traditional planner, you're probably not behind. I just have a bullet journal, and I have, you know, an entire journal to make, whereas, you know, you guys might not. So I think it's a good idea. I really like the, I like how it's gone for me. And then, especially because, like I said, I usually wait till the very end of the year to plan my reading planner. I won't feel as guilty then only working on that because I want to get that functional. But it's also good for me to kind of like identify the things in my reading planner that I need functional, right? Like, I don't necessarily need to have the Christmas challenge set up because I'll be over reading Christmas books by then. Although I did read a lot of one in the beginning of the year this year. But like, I'm gonna want, you know, my seasonal challenge, I want to set up because I'm going to want to jump right into the winter one. I'm going to want my arc set up. I'm going to want my romance challenge, especially because I'll be right into that. But the fantasy might be able to wait. I'm going to want ABCs up. I'm going to want the colors up. I'm going to want covers up. Like, I'm going to want the USA and the Reader on the World up. So, like, I think it's good to, like, kind of identify the things that I'm going to want to do and have set up. I'm going to want the OSU Winter Reading Challenge up. And then, like, obviously I'm going to want January set up in the first couple weeks in January. My anticipated list. I'm going to want to know what I'm going to do here. I think it's a good idea to be able to sit here and say, like, these are the things I need. You know, I don't necessarily really need, like, the front of my book to look like this, right? But I'm going to want my name in it. Like, so what I'm planning on doing with my bookworm life is I typically will have a day at the end of the year with my friends. We call it the Bookworm Life Setup Day. It's usually sometime between Christmas and New Year's, usually like on that weekend, which now that I think of it, I'm trying to remember what the breakdown is. I think it's like a Thursday Christmas, so there might be a good weekend in there too. That we will go to, the place we usually go for our scrapbook meetups or our planner meetups is a scrapbook store, and for like $5 to $10, depending on the day, you can rent one of their like 6-foot tables as your space for the entirety of the store, open to close. And so this is what we do in our normal planner meetups too, which we usually do like on the third Sunday of the month. And then this year we've been adding like 1 or 2 in additional ones just because we've been wanting to go and hang out more. But then for the specifically the Bookworm Life Setup Day, I'll bring our Bookworm Lives and we'll all like work in them. And you don't have to have your Bookworm Life to do that, but we did it. I think the second year Monica made a planner. So like the second year of the Bookworm Life, we were like, we should all get together. And maybe it was the first year actually. And we all brought our planners. It was just really fun. She brought like hot cocoa or something. And we've done it pretty much every year since. So it works for us. And it's fun. So yeah, that's, you know. So because I know that I'll be waiting for a large part of it, I think what I'll end up doing is when I do get my Bookworm Life though, like some of these ones that I know I'm going to do, like I know I'm going to probably tip in bookshelves again. So I'll do that because that can take a hot minute. And that's not something like I'll want to be sitting there and doing. I might start writing my anticipated books in. If I know the goals, I might pencil those in because that doesn't take very long. You know, I probably will do January on a live with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, especially if I'm done and have set up all my planners, and I'm probably going to be close to, if not done with all my other planners. I hope you can come. We haven't set a date for the Bookworm Life one, but I mean, like, honestly, if you're free a certain day, let us know. Like, a lot of us have been just going on random days as well. Because, yeah. So, like, I will probably, like set my, like I'll set like the first 2 weeks up in my planner. I'll set obviously January up. And then the next thing I'll basically do is go back to the back and start working on challenges. Cause that's the bulk of where my reading planner setup is. And what I'll do is beforehand, I will go and like, I will just washi the stencils right in here. And like have them all set on these pages. Just so I can like go. So yeah. That's my, I don't know, in a nutshell, because I've been rambling about this for a while, but that's what the goal of my project is. And obviously, like, I hope you guys benefit from it too. But if not, like, it's for me. So, like, this is 3 of my 4 planners for next year. And then, obviously, like I said, I'm waiting on the Bookworm Life. And then I also have a bunch of, like, random little ones that, like, I don't touch all the time, but are part of my planner lineup, like my little adventure book, this one, and those are more like memory keeper planners. So yeah, like it's not even like necessarily like an idea, it's just so that I know. Kelly, my friend Kelly, has done that before and it just worked well. So I'll hopefully be done using those for my bullet journal and I can just stick them in there, so then when I get there I'm not flipping through, you know, books and books. So yeah, this actually looks really pretty together. Now I need Monica to like put something in, like the Bookworm Life cover needs to be in this general tone. But yeah, so like I said, I did finish my what do you call this? My junk journal. So the nice thing about that is that, like I said, I should be, you know, somewhere in the middle, hopefully, of this junk journal when the year starts, so I don't have to worry about, yeah, it really is. And I'm hoping that it will help me, and I hope it helps you guys too. So anyway, so you saw my sunflowers there. Is this week's, next 2 weeks in my Bookworm Life, and then I did these 2 weeks, which next week I really love. I love this one. I'm not sure I love this one, but it's cute enough. So, yeah. Anyway, that is going to be it for tonight, because like I said, I am going to probably pop on here and start working on my videos for week 3 of the soft launch 2026, which will be posted sometime on Sunday. Sunday is my nephew's birthday party, and then also I'm supposed to be going to see Elizabeth Gilbert, a bookish night, like a meet and greet with her at 7, but it's like 45 minutes away. And his party starts at 3 and the event starts at 7. So I'm going to be late for that for sure. I'm just not sure if I'm going to like be up to going. But either way, like that's why I want to get them filmed ahead of time, so I don't have to worry about getting them posted. I want to get them filmed and just like set in draft so I can just push launch on them. So anyway, hope you guys have a good night. Like I said, I will not be live next Tuesday. The next 2 Tuesdays I have, I think they're both author signings. So like bookish events the next 2 weeks. However, since it is next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after is PBC, obviously like I like to go live and I don't want to miss those lives. So next week I will be live on Thursday at 8 p.m. and that is because I will have all of my new releases ready to go and launch on that day. So after my live, I'll post everything that will be up for PBC other than the vault opening, which I'll open the vaults on Saturday. If you're not an email subscriber yet and you plan on ordering during PBC, definitely make sure you go to my website and at the very bottom sign up for emails. I will be having a special extra 5%. So my PBC general sale is going to be 30%. I will have an extra 5%. So you'll get 35% off if you order during the email, the VIP email power hour. So it'll be 9 to 9 on Friday. And then, of course, Saturday, I will open my fandom vault. So all of our old fandom items you can get on Saturday and Sunday only. If you order on Friday and then order on Saturday, we'll combine your orders. I'm going kind of soft on the freebies this time because I just haven't had time to design them. I do have a regular freebie and I will have probably a tiered freebie. But I probably won't have first order freebies other than some sampler swaps that I have. And then the week after that, I'm going to go live on Wednesday. I did post a calendar in the group too, so this has all that information there. I'm going to go live on Wednesday because, as you know, I typically will extend my sale through the next Wednesday. So So doing that is the purpose of like, that'll be our last call basically. I will also be live in the PVC. I guess I could look at my calendar in here. I don't know why I'm like, I don't know the dates. Good thing I have this. I will be live. Okay, so next week I'm going to be live on, yes, I have 2 author events the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be live on the 18th, which is going to be our new release day and the day before PVC starts. That'll be at 8 p.m. I'm going to be live. Oh, shit. Oh, well. I'm going to be live in the PVC group on the 21st. Time TBD, because now I have to rethink it because I didn't realize that was our scrappy weekend. And I have to get dinner, too. So, it's probably going to be at 8 o'clock. I think I have it set as 7 right now, but it's going to probably likely be at 8. And then, I will be live on the 24th at 8 p.m. as well. And that'll be our like final call for PVC. And yeah. And then the week after that on the 30th, I plan on being live on Tuesday. So with a little bit of a shakeup in our live schedules in September, because apparently all these author events want to be on Tuesdays now. But yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for you tonight. Hope you guys have a great night. I will see you hopefully next Thursday. Yeah. Join me. Good night.